This week's news from the tubes and F5 Live is proudly powered by Malwarebytes. Whether you use a PC, a Mac, or a mobile device, Malwarebytes Premium is the company's strongest protection ever. It fights threats that traditional antivirus software can't stop. It actively blocks threats like worms, dialers, rootkits, bots, and a whole bunch more. And you can use your computer and mobile devices with confidence and peace of mind. To learn more and to get a special price, you can go to f5live.tv/malwarebytes. Obviously, we know hacks are a constant these days, but not all hacks are created equal. This one, you're going to shake your head at all the way through the story. So, here's what happens. You've got this guy, Joshua Straight, and he's been illegally accessing video from Major League Baseball, the National Basketball Association, National Football League, National Hockey League, and then stealing the video, the live video, and then putting it behind his own paywall for which he charges access. Now, that alone is a stupid idea, but it's not terribly uncommon. If you're watching us on Twitch, you're coming off of an infrastructure that was famous for illegal rebroadcasts. Justin TV was the place to watch WWE pay-per-view. But this is where it gets really dumb. This guy then contacts the MLB and tells them that he has an active exploit and says, I want money for this bug. He contacts an executive of the MLB and tries to, essentially says, I want money for this bug. The one that he's using to actively exploit and take the video and rebroadcast. The executive says, well, we appreciate that you're bringing a bug to our attention, but we don't have a bug bounty program. This guy says, oh, well, there should be a meeting of the minds. You should be more grateful that I would be bringing this to your attention. The guy's like, oh, I'm grateful. There's just nothing I can do about it. He says, well, maybe what I'll do is I'll take this information to the news. And the executive says, okay, how much money do you want? He says, 150 grand. Now, if you know anything about bug bounty programs, anything more than a hug and a thank you is a surprise. 150 grand is ridiculous because now they know that there is an exploit. They don't know what it is exactly, but they know it's out there and they know what it's being used for. So their IT department is already looking for it. Anyway, my guess is by the time this conversation was done, they had fixed it. Either way, the guy from the MLB says, yeah, that's going to be a hard pass from us. And apparently early on had passed this on to the Justice Department, who did their investigation, determined who the guy was, found him, and by the time he said, I want 150 grand or I'm going to the news, the Justice Department knew who he was and filed charges. Okay, so in summary, guy is making money from exploit on Major League Baseball's website. Decides to circumvent his own illegal income to go for a bigger, quicker payday and gets his knees taken out from under him. Hubris at its best.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty dumb. I mean, that's pretty dumb. I mean, you got to assume I guess if you're him, you got to assume they're eventually going to patch it and take his source of income away anyway. Mm-hmm. But now he's calling attention to himself and got himself in trouble with the law. So
yeah, I mean, for both the exploit and what's the word? Extortion. He got charged for
Yes.
both actively hacking the MLB system for profit and extortion.
I mean, yeah, that's not good. My question is, how does he get to, I mean, maybe this is not that hard because I haven't tried it. How does he get to be emailing people at MLB? Can we all just email an executive at MLB to comment on things?
You know, it's a fair question. I don't know. I was curious
You
how
know,
that
I
happened.
didn't realize it was that easy. I didn't realize it was that easy. I mean, not that I have a great desire. I don't know. Listen, I don't like your. I don't like the strike zone. Can you do something about it? I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
The pace of play is too slow. Can you do something about it? Costs too much to go to games. Can you do something about it? I mean, there's so much. I don't know. There's so much wrong here.
I know. From what I understand from the Justice Department, the conversation did not start at the executive level. It was when the bug was submitted and then a payment was requested that probably someone on the vice president of information security or some kind of low level executive got involved. And my guess is the 150K number was chosen because for somebody with a vice president in their name, they might have discretionary spending in that range. Because this could be.
I guess it depends on the company.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
In my company, if you spend $1,000, they will be very it will be heavily scrutinized. So I don't think. I mean, I don't know. Maybe at baseball they have $150,000 slush fund to spend on lunch or whatever, but
but certainly
no company I've worked for is that loose with money.
Right, but if he were to have asked for $1 million, that's not going to fall under anybody except maybe Zuckerberg's discretionary spending, I guess is my point. I guess he was hoping. This guy has proven that he doesn't have a great grasp on what's happening. But
yeah, I don't think the $150,000. I don't think that he's thinking the way that you're thinking, like, oh, I can get away with this because it's only $150,000. Maybe like Dr. Evil, he actually thinks this is a lot of money. Remember in Austin Powers' $1 million.
That's what I've been thinking about this whole time, is that movie. As I was researching and writing this article, I wanted Dr. Evil to be the header image. I knew there was no way that was going to go over. But I wanted that to be. But yeah.
Because, I mean, it's like you don't know what a big demand is. So maybe 100. But on the other hand, you're saying this is a small demand on one level and a huge demand on another level. So, because it's huge for a bug bounty, but small for what you think they think they could fly under the radar. I think that this person.
I've got the MLB tried to buy the documents tied to A-Rod's steroid use for around $1 million, and that wasn't inside the commissioner's office. That was just from the security spending. So that came out as somebody's discretionary spending, or would have if it had worked, which it didn't.
But you say that was inside the commissioner's office.
No, it wasn't.
The commissioner's office.
It wasn't inside the commissioner's office. That was outside the commissioner's office.
Yeah,
so that was somebody outside the commissioner's office who thought that they could get $1 million into their discretionary spending without being noticed.
Maybe this person needs maybe this person just needs $150,000 for something. I mean,
right.
Sometimes people are very specific about how much they need to extort or steal. Like, maybe they owe $150,000 in loans or something.
On Archer, Cyril pretended to kidnap Cheryl and asked for a very specific and strange number because he owed it to somebody, or he had borrowed it from his 401k or something. No, from his IRA. So yeah, sometimes that happens. It's weird. But yeah, we talk too often about successful, high profile hacks and malware and that kind of thing. This was just a funny story of a guy whose hubris got the best of him. That I figured we had to have something a little goofy for Halloween, and that was my goofy story, because you've got to be kidding me. That's yeah. Oh, wonderful. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of F5 Live Refreshing Technology. If you did, please subscribe to the channel down below, and of course hit the notification bell, because we know that subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. If you've got topics that you'd like us to talk about in the future, please comment them down below. And if you'd like to not follow us on YouTube, there's lots of ways that you can follow along with our content by going to plughitslive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all of the ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.